The final way we can view sex, and I will get ready to close here in a second, is that sex is a gift. Turn to 1 Corinthians chapter 7 as we get ready to close here. Sex is a gift. You know what James tells us? Every good and perfect gift is from where? Above. It's from God. Sex is from God. He created us. And this is what Paul tells us about sex in the context of marriage. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1. Now concerning the matters about which you wrote, it is good for a man not to have sexual relations with a woman. So he's responding to their letter. He's responding to fundamentalism. But because of the temptation to sexual immorality, each man should have his own wife and each woman her own husband. So he's saying, since God created you to have sex, you should have sex. The husband should give to his wife her conjugal rights, and likewise the wife to her husband. So what Paul is saying here is, since God created sex, you should have sex. For the wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does. Now, before you get all crazy on me, look what he says. Likewise, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife does. Do not deprive one another, except perhaps by agreement, for a limited time, that you may devote yourselves to prayer, but then come together again, so that Satan may not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. Paul basically says this, sum it up this way. Husbands and wives in the context of marriage should enjoy and have lots of sex. The only reason you should part is to pray. That excludes headaches, busy days, I ate too much food, whatever it might be. He says, do it a lot. And when you separate, pray for each other. By the way, prayer leads to a great sex life, just so you understand. It's one of the most intimate things that you can do as a husband and wife. You didn't hear that in Sunday school, did you? Sex is to be stewarded, it's to be guarded, it's to be enjoyed, it's to be shared. It is for pleasure, it is for creating children, it is for oneness, it is for a knowledge that nobody else has of one another, it is for protection against sin, it is for comfort. So, how do we apply this week? If you're married, I think the application is pretty clear. If you're having sexual issues in your marriage, keep coming back to the sermon series. Talk about it in your community group, but talk about it with one another. Talk about it with one another. Do I view sex as God, gross, or gift? If you're not married and you're having sex, you're fornicating, repent, stop, get help, receive forgiveness, and commit yourself to Jesus Christ. And if sex is your God or gross, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You see, your mind is your most powerful sexual organ. And it leads to the heart. And like Ezekiel says, it starts with the heart, not your hands. Be transformed about how you view sex. It's not God. It's not gross. It's a gift.